Hi class, welcome to my final milestone project. This is the finished address book. After these 7 weeks of hard work, this is what it has all culminated in. As you can see up here, my app is running right now, but we're not going to jump into the app quite yet. I want to walk you through the code, all the code that I added to the project this week to enable the functionality for email, calling, maps, and texting. So to start off with, we have our buttons for emailing, calling, opening the maps with the location, and texting from our contact book. And here we have finding the view, the typical stuff. And then we made our on-click listeners, and each on-click listener opens its own function rather than cluttering up the on-click listeners in case you wanted to add something later. We have it open a function that has all of the necessary code inside of the function. Alrighty, so here we have our first function, which is compose email. It takes in the intent, which is the application that it's going to open up, and then it parses the URI that it gets and sends it to the mail application, and then it prompts the user to open their mail application. And then here we have the string of email addresses in case you wanted to send it to more than one email address. And it passes in right here, and this is the intent for the email. And then here's adding the subject to the intent. For this, we just use a generic subject, being that it's going to open an email app anyways. All we do is have them enter the email address, and then it opens it and allows them to type in their own subject. And then here we have the call phone number function. What this does is take in a phone number from one of the contacts, and it passes it in and it calls them right away rather than going to the dialer. I thought the calling functionality was better versus like the email. I didn't have them enter a subject for calling rather than going to the dialer. It's just going to call them straight away. It just makes it easier, and really all they're going to do is press an extra button. So I went straight to the calling function. A lot of the same stuff here, except for this one has to get permission from the device to use the dialer. These Android devices, due to people making apps that will potentially be harmful, they require certain permissions by the user when you open them, and the permission right here is added to my manifest file so that it knows that this app is going to be using that permission. And then so there we have the permission granted, and it's going to ask them if they want to allow that. As I'm sure you've seen as you opened multiple Android apps, you'll see that it asks you, will you allow access to contacts and all those other things. So this will ask them if it allows them, if they will allow you to access their phone. And then here's just an added function, on request permission results, which is passed in up here to the call phone number function. Let's see if I can find that. Yeah, it's up here in the call phone number function. And then we have the compose MMS message. This also takes in a phone number string, and this takes in a message which is predefined. We're not going to let them type a message until they get to the actual app, where they'll have all the built-in functionality of the app, including suggestions, spell check, all that stuff. And more of the same here. It's going to send the SMS, and it's going to add the phone number onto it. And then finally, we have the show map function, which takes in a geolocation. And this one's interesting because the default location will be longitude and latitude. But I don't know many people who navigate to places by longitude and latitude. That's going to be more for your outdoorsman than your average user of an address book. So we, in our function that takes in the string, we actually preset it to be a location. It doesn't have to be an exact address. It could be, you could say McDonald's, you could say Wendy's, but it's not going to take in latitude and longitude as Google Maps would. Alright, so now that we've got through all the walkthrough of the code, let me take you into my app, which is already running and open. I opened it before I started this tutorial to save time. So here we have our contact book right here. We have all of our options as I walked you through last week. Contact display. Here we have the sorting and searching by the one criteria. And then over here we have the menu. So it says email, phone, location. So let's enter in an email and let's see where it takes us. Oh, I gotta close that. There we go. So it's going to take us to Gmail, and I didn't want to sign in on this device, but if you add your email address and you say take me to Gmail, it will come up with the email address that you wanted to email and the generic subject line. And now let's enter in a phone number, and we will click call. That will take us to our calling, and it's going straight to voicemail because this emulated phone does not have service. Alright, oh, and I can do the same thing for texting. And for this one, you will actually see the subject come up. Hello, it's me. That is the generic subject line that I added. Here you can see all the texting functionality works. Again, we don't have service, so we'll not be able to send a message. But on a regular Android phone, this would work right out of the box. So now, like I said, we're not doing longitude and latitude. So now let's enter a location. How about this? Grand Canyon University. And there we go. Brings us right to Grand Canyon University. And as I said before, this will not only take in places like that, but it will also take in an address. Boom, there we go. 150 Sacramento Street in Palo Alto, California, right in Silicon Valley. And the scrolling wheel does not work very well on Google Maps. So there you have it, my address book completed project with all the functionality as defined by the milestone, and I hope you enjoyed it. Bye-bye.